These winds pick up again. It's like crazy. It's gusting outside for the next 2 days. Southern California Edison switches off all the powers again, and we're back to square one. So got to evacuate again. It's just nuts. You never know. It's very unsettling. But I want to get into the news because, getting power right now from my car is about to go live. Bang, the warnings come out on the phone. Power goes down, couldn't go live. So, jumped in the car, keep the cell phone reception going, which is great. So you could basically do a live feed from your phone, which is cool. That's technology. Now, Uber, you got to listen to this crazy one, right? So Uber sues Colorado. Uber sues Colorado, files an injunction in the Denver court saying to Colorado on February the 1st, you cannot go forward with your new law, and that is disclosing what a rider paid and what a driver received on the same screen when you're checking out. So the rider knows exactly, okay, I paid 100, my driver got 30. Both parties, the rider and the driver, and this is the first in the country. I love this idea. I hope it goes through. I hope that Uber does not win this case. And what is their excuse for filing this? They say they do not want to be shamed. Listen to that. They don't want to be shamed. So they are basically, CEO Dara Khosrowshahi is admitting to the rest of the world, to Colorado, to Denver, to the judges, we don't want to be shamed. We don't want this information out there. We do not want an accounting that when the rider ends the trip, they get to see how much they paid and how much the driver received. They call this shaming. Oh, you are trying to shame us. Well, how ironic, right? Yeah, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. The rest of the world should be ashamed at you because finally, some state has the balls to take on Uber and Lyft and say, hey, full disclosure, rider paid, driver received. That does not suit Uber. So they file this big lawsuit and they file an injunction to stop that. So we shall see how that case plays out. I just find it mind-blowing. They just admitted their true colors, right? You're trying to shame us. Well, something tells me, CEO Dara Khosrowshahi and that legal team, that you feel ashamed, that you truly feel ashamed about the numbers. Otherwise, you wouldn't have admitted this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have tried to stop this. And this is literally the first state in the country, right? All Colorado cities, wherever Uber and Lyft operates, at the end of the trip, there has to be a full accounting, all the numbers. The rider, let's say, for example, paid $100. The driver received 30. All of this bullshit in between was subtracted. They want full accounting. Uber says, no, stop. Don't shame us. Don't shame us. Yeah. Sean, the accent is from South Africa, but I'm born in Washington, D.C. I'm born in the United States. I grew up in Europe and South Africa and came back to the United States, my birth country, in 2000. Thanks for asking. Mike's in the house. So, talk about showing your true colors. Then received a fairly sad video out of New York. There's one driver. The New York NYPD arrested him. He had the middle finger sign stuck to his number plate. He's been driving around gluing the middle finger stickers on the cameras because of all this new bullshit congestion pricing that the drivers have to pay. Now, we have to take a step back here. Uber and Lyft have been lobbying in New York for a long, long time, paying politicians, hey, we want this congestion pricing. It is the perfect way to build in these fees, additional fees, and rip off both the rider and the driver. And they finally got it through. There was a lot of media around this massive racket called congestion pricing. What a way for Uber and Lyft to rip off the passengers, the rider, and stick it to the drivers, as if the lockouts weren't enough, as if New York hadn't been through enough. Now they have to stick them with the congestion pricing. It's a complete racket. It's the greed has paid off. They paid off all these lobbyists to get this congestion pricing through. So again, showing their true colors. Now, this poor guy, I'm going to make a video. I tried to make a video, but then my power went out in the house and we had to evacuate again. I will make a video. I don't know his name. He got arrested, this driver, this Uber driver in New York today. And, you know, if there's some type of bail money for him, maybe we get a GoFundMe going, because the guy was just pissed off and upset. And the question that I now ask myself, how far, and Dara Khosrowshahi, I'm talking directly to you. I'm not afraid to look you in the face and tell you this. And David Risher, I'm looking directly at you and telling you this. Again, not afraid to tell you this in person, face to face. How much further do you want to push drivers until they crack, until they snap? I mean, are you testing it out, right? Because it sure seems like it. Congestion pricing, fighting Colorado drivers. You don't want disclosure. You don't want the true numbers. You feel ashamed. And you keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, subtracting, stealing, baiting, switching. Classic, right? Wage theft. I mean, New York alone, my friends. Let's go back a few months. New York alone, between 2014 and 2017, $328 million wage theft. That's just in New York. That excludes the other 49 states who haven't even filed. Their attorney generals haven't even filed their numbers. There should be another 49 cases coming. And my question to these CEOs, how much further do you want to push the drivers? You got them right there at the end of the cliff. I mean, do you want to like give them that nudge and push them over the cliff and see them snap? Because in the current atmosphere, if I'm a CEO, I would watch my fucking ass right now. If I was Dara Khosrowshahi and David Risher, I would not keep on pushing drivers to the limit, because somewhere, something tells me a driver is going to snap. They can't take it anymore. Like when your livelihood's on the line, when you feel like you have let your family down, when your wife is talking about divorce, and you're just working around the clock, and you're working and grinding around the clock, and then only then to find out, oh, they're trying to steal numbers from you here. They're trying to get you on congestion over here. It's a never-ending process where Dara Khosrowshahi, David Risher, Tony Zhu, and other CEOs keep on pushing. They keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing drivers to the limit. And I take a step back and I say, haven't they just learned what happened in the last 60 days? Right? Aren't CEOs like just a little bit afraid or a little bit cautious, or trying to extend an olive leaf, or trying to offer some real good customer service, or trying to mend things? No. Uber and Lyft keep on pushing, squeezing, pushing, squeezing, pushing, squeezing, pushing, squeezing every last droplet out of the lemon. Do you honestly think that's a good idea, Dara Khosrowshahi? Do you honestly think that's a good idea, David Risher, to test in this environment, in this crazy time, to test a driver's limits before they snap? I don't get it. And I mean, it's like we're warning these guys, right? We're warning them. You are pushing us too far. You are pushing us off the cliff. You are destroying families. And these CEOs know they're the most hated CEOs in the United States right now, who have all beefed up on security, big time. They have spent big time on security, but still, they keep on pushing. They keep on pushing our buttons. How far can we go? How far can we go? Let's keep on pushing, pressing buttons, pressing buttons, pressing buttons. I would hope you take a minute to think about what I'm saying here, Mr. Koshashawi and Mr. Risha, and all those investors that are pushing for more. Thank God there have been a handful of investors that have stand up, not many, that have stood up recently, not many, that said enough is enough. Enough is enough. Let's see more clarity on the pay. Riders, drivers, we want to see more clarity. Investors, a few, just a handful. We want to see more safety. But the other 90%, they're complicit. They're pushing these CEOs and saying, look, the stock price is not good enough. You're allowing Tesla to dictate the conversation. You're allowing Waymo to dictate the conversation. We need to dictate the conversation. And the investors keep on putting pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure. And I can understand that these CEOs are under enormous pressure. But I have zero compassion for a CEO like Dara Khosrowshahi, who owns so many shares in the company, so many shares in the company, and he's literally looking out for himself. In fact, even David Risha went out and bought more shares. So you're just protecting your own greed, and you keep on pushing, and you keep on pushing, and you keep on pushing, hoping and praying that no driver snaps. I'm going to make a wild prediction here. You can't keep on pushing too much further. You cannot. People have had it. I don't know if these CEOs take the time to read these letters. I read these letters every single day from drivers. They can't take it anymore. They cannot take it anymore. I mean, well, one guy writes to me, I've had suicidal thoughts. Like, dude, hold on 1 second. Not worth it. Delete Uber, delete Lyft, head off in a different direction. Don't even consider suicide. But this is what these companies are doing to drivers. They're forcing them to sleep in cars. They're ruining families. They're ruining marriages. And do they care? No. They keep on pushing. They keep on pushing. Hookah King's Rental says we need more lawsuits to protect drivers. They find every way to screw drivers. And by the way, New York, you have until January the 30th. You can go onto the Uber and Lyft website, and specifically talking to New York drivers, because there are approximately 100,000 drivers. I think I have the numbers right here. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but there are approximately 100,000 drivers that are entitled to compensation from the $328 million settlement. 88,000 drivers have already filed their claim, and the other 12,000 drivers have until, I think it's January the 30th or January the 31st to file their claim. So please, you can go onto the New York Attorney General's website, file your claim. You can go through the Uber and Lyft website as a New York driver to file your claim. But those 12,000 people, those 12,000 drivers, I urge you, file your claim. They stole from you. Get your damn money back. Now, I hope that these attorneys don't take the bulk of the money, because those class action attorneys are very well known for that. Boba says, I've been sick for almost a week, but rates are so low, it's not worth it to drive. Yeah, and if you're sick, Boba, I mean, if you're coughing and your chest is closed up and you're stressed, Doesn't help, right? Stress just attacks the immune system, makes it worse. And then as you go out to drive, you're grinding yourself, even your body down even further. And then you start seeing the results. Oh God, I'm only getting 25% here, and you're getting more stressed. And it's that vicious cycle. It's that vicious cycle where once you start getting sick and you maybe have like walking pneumonia, which could evolve to actual full-blown pneumonia, that's dangerous. So I would ask you kindly to take good care of yourself, right? If you have a little bit of money aside, switch off the apps, take care of your health. You're number one, you're the numero uno. Chinchilla says, Uber secretly surge charging riders, but drivers see none of that surge. Saw last week in the snowstorm, Uber fleecing the riders, but pay to drivers were not anyone. So yeah, you're right. In snowstorms, yeah, let's take it from those riders. Drivers don't get anything for doing the hard work in the snow. And it's the same thing here in the fires. It's disgusting. They're putting out these codes. Making a video. Uber and Lyft are putting out these codes. Oh, you can get free rides, right? Free rides, or up to $25 or $40 if you're affected in the fire zone. And so they make a big media PR stunt, but only the first 500 riders get that. Listen, there's over 150,000 people evacuating. Are we going to do this PR stunt for 500 people? It goes to show who or how their true character works. It goes to show who these people are. They are scum. They capitalize, they take advantage of situations, they take advantage of the snow, they take advantage of the fires. Oh, you get this free code if you're in the fire zone to the first 500 riders of 150,000 people that are trying to evacuate. You are scum, Mr. Koshashawi. If your children don't know it yet, your father is scum. If your wives of these CEOs don't know it, I'll tell you on behalf of all the drivers, your husbands are scum. They are the scum of the earth, right? You know, when a dog goes and takes a shit on the ground, you can turn the shit over, and underneath that pile of shit, that's where your husband lies. That's how low they are. That's how they kick people in the nuts, in the balls, taking advantage of real humans, exploiting them, squeezing them, stealing from them, baiting and switching them. It's the most disgusting form of humanity you can ever see. You see in the eyes of these CEOs how brutal they are in their ways to extract every last little penny before you break, before you crack, before you snap. Let's see how far we can push these humans. And when it comes to fires, you guys are making all this money from these Los Angelinos in Santa Monica and Brentwood and Pacific Palisades, in the Eaton fire in Pasadena. Or you just made so many millions and millions from these people. Oh, but you're extending a little bone, a little carrot to 500 riders of 150,000 to get that little PR stunt in there. Shame on you. This channel says it as it is. Shame on you. So we have David in the house. Uber needs to differentiate the ride requests by color coding requests so it's easier to select rides. Nice idea. Now I want to go back to the title of my video. Today, Uber files a lawsuit against Colorado in Denver, and what they want to stop is a new law going into effect on February the 1st. What does the law say? Colorado is the first state, I would say, in the country or worldwide, to say we want a full accounting breakdown for the rider and the driver, meaning you have to disclose what the rider paid, what the driver received on the receipt. So the rider can see, oh, I paid $100 in a snowstorm, and the driver got 25, and the breakdown of the other 75, where did it go? They want precise, clear, crystal clear accounting. That is what Colorado wants. And what does Uber do? They file an injunction, they file a lawsuit, they sue Colorado, and they say, no, stop. We do not want to be shamed. Their words. I am not making this up. I'll make a video on it. We do not want to be shamed. Yes, we are ashamed of what we're charging the rider and giving the driver, but we don't want that to be shared with the outside world. We do not want the rider to know. We do not want the driver to know what the breakdown is. And I mean, to me, I love the idea. This is full clarity, full exposure. Rider paid, driver received, and everything in between, all on one receipt at the end of the trip. Why not? Why don't all the other cities? No, they are fighting this in courts now. They filed an injunction. And then I want to repeat this again. New York just got screwed over. New York drivers, 100,000 drivers got screwed over wage theft, 328 million. Then for months and months, Josh Gold and the gang, the Uber gang, right, organize lockouts to punish the drivers. And then Josh Gold and the Uber gang, CEO Koshashawi and all the scum and all the legal attorneys, pay the lobbyists in New York to introduce congestion pricing so that they can now keep on screwing the riders and the drivers. Again, guys, I'm talking to you, Koshashawi. I'm talking to you, Risha, directly here through this video, because I know you have a couple of little skivvies and employees that are going to share the video with you. I'm going to ask you directly, when is enough for you guys? Or do you want to keep on pushing? Do you want to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing? Do you want to push? Do you really want to push that driver over the cliff? That is my question to you. And it's a simple question. And it's a yes or no answer. Is it your intention to push the driver over the cliff? Yes or no? Just answer me. Very clear. It's a yes or no answer, Mr. Koshashawi. It's a yes or no answer, Mr. Risha. And if they did put Risha in there because he's buddy with Jeff Bezos, and he is maybe setting up Amazon to come in and scoop in Lyft, right? All the talk is that Amazon is going to swallow Lyft. A lot of hype in the media that Amazon's just going to come and gobble up and swallow Lyft, which is going to help their AV agenda. And I'll have the same question to you, Jeff Bezos. Are you going to keep on pushing drivers and Amazon Flex drivers and your new Lyft drivers? Are you going to keep on pushing them to the cliff? Do you intend to push them over the cliff? Amsterdam in the house. So I did a video. It was in Dutch. It was a great documentary about the Dutch drivers striking in Amsterdam on January the 8th. Great job. Those cowards wouldn't come out and talk to the drivers. Typical fashion, just cowards. Bunch of cowards working for those companies. They wouldn't come out and face the Dutch drivers. No, the guy drove away quickly on his bicycle. Then when they tried to do some damage control, they said, one driver can come into the meeting and we'll talk face to face. No media, no police. One driver got let in. That driver, who you see interviewed in that video, then came out and shared with 1,000 other drivers what went on behind those walls. And it was just future promises, future promises, future promises. Nothing materializes. Nothing comes to fruition. And I know this because I've had a 30-minute conversation with David Risher. Me personally, I've had a conversation on Zoom with David Risher, where he said all of these things are going to materialize. He made the same promises to Sergio. All of these things, we're going to roll them out in the next 6 to 12 months. Nothing, nada, nichts, niente, nix. Nothing happened, nada. None of those promises materialized, Mr. Risher. So obviously, you lose every ounce of credibility with drivers. And they're losing the credibility very quickly with riders because riders are sick and tired. In the fires, I'm driving around private clients, taking them to hotels, picking up grandmothers, elderly people, taking their belongings, their treasures. And I'm driving all over the show, everywhere. I was all over LA. And I happened to drive into Four Seasons, a very very luxurious, expensive hotel in Westlake. And I overhear a conversation. And the guy goes, "Thank God you're here. Thank God, I'm happy to see you." And the first thing the guy said, "Yeah, this fucking Uber just charged me $180 or something for a short trip." And that was during the fires. The guy was pissed. And he goes, "No, don't worry, let's go for a drink." And they went inside into the hotel. But you could see he got out of the car. He was pissed. He just saw how Uber had gouged him during the fires. Real story. So, to all of you, Kulala says we did nothing about Maui fires, then it's LA. Yeah, both those got hit super, super hard. Super, super hard. So we have 51 people in the house. I hope you're all staying safe. Making the video rather short and sweet. Got to get on with the show here. Charging my phone in the car because all the power again in this area is out. Calabasas, Segura area, everything, all the power is out. Thousand Oaks, Newburgh, like a weird